What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this latest album from Nicki Minaj called Queen. Now, Nicki Minaj doesn't need much of an introduction because I think we all know who she is, but this is the first album she's dropped since the Pink Print in 2014, so it has been a while. In spite of that, she always stays buzzing because she does tons of features and she has a hardcore fan base. And this hardcore fan base actually made a little bit of news recently because of this tweet up here. All this girl was saying is that she wanted to hear something a little bit different from Nicki. I don't think it warranted the response that she got where people were threatening her and insulting her. But I understand, man. We all have artists that we really care for and feel invested in. I just am never going to co-sign people throwing threats out and being that way towards someone over a music opinion. I think that shit is way too far. But that's a whole topic for another day because we are going to jump right into it with this album. I think most people would agree that the song Barbie Dreams is a standout track here, and what she's doing here is remixing Biggie's track called Just Playing. On that song, he was spitting all kinds of sexual lines about various 90s R&B singers, so what Nicki did was take that beat and take that idea, except she's going in on rappers. She has all kinds of comical lines on this, so she had me laughing as I was listening through some of this shit. For example, she says she doesn't know if her pussy's wet or if Drake is crying when he's going down on her, just a reference to how emotional Drake can be. She even claims that Meek is still in her DMs, and she calls out Young Thug for stealing her dresses. She has all kinds of clever lines on here. This is just a really dope track overall, and I think this has some of her best rapping on it, man. It actually kind of reminded me of early Nicki before she started doing more of the poppy type of shit, so this is a track that I liked and would easily list it as one of my favorites. My other favorite would be LLC. This one is a xylophone banger where Nicki is just speaking on her credentials from working with Kanye and M to just achieving pretty much everything. So in this instance, I can appreciate her referring to herself as the queen. She really has done a lot regardless of how you feel about her, and this track is very high quality, although it does kind of get boring when she's bragging and boasting all over this project about how damn good she is, because some of the bars on this shit are brutal, which I will talk about a bit later, but first we're going to wrap up the positives. I also thought the production on Hard White was pretty dope. This is another banger, although the garbled auto-croon hook on it isn't that strong. And Chun Sway featuring Sway Lee is pretty solid as well. You're getting the spacey banger from Metro Boomin, so it's an all-out slapper for night riding, and you're getting some of that catchy falsetto from Sway Lee. So I thought this was one of the better tracks for sure, and it really did come together quite well. There are things I like here with this album, but I just think it's another instance of a project that goes on for way too long, jumbles around with way too many sounds, so it's not overly cohesive and consistent. So we are going to talk about some of these dumpster juice bars now, because there are plenty all over it. And I'm not saying that Nicki Minaj is an all-out awful rapper. I mean, she has plenty of charisma, she has great flows, you hear all this on this project and in her past work, but she just cannot help herself when it comes to some of these lines. You may have seen her on Twitter tweeting some of these lines out like they were fucking top tier level, and really they weren't really that great at all. But here are some of the lines that I thought were bad on this one. Just a couple of them, because we ain't got all day. So on the song Sir, first of all, this is an eerie trap banger that actually works pretty well with Future's verse, and here they're putting Sir on the end of everything on some juvenile type of shit. But she does have some bad bars here, like when she spits, "New slaves, but I'm still the master. I'm whipping foreigns to make them go faster." I think we are all tired as hell of slave and whip lines by now. That shit is just played out, so that was a glaringly bad line to me. And then on the song Good Form, she's trying to land Bugs Bunny because all she wants is carrots. This shit just makes me cringe like Freddy Krueger dragging his fucking fingernails down the goddamn chalkboard. I think we have all heard more than enough lines about bunnies and carrots. Again, slaves and whips. These are some of the most played out lines and references in hip hop. So these were some moments that really stuck out to me. But there are some more of them, man. You're going to hear plenty of bad bars in pretty much every verse. There's always a line. Like I said, she can't help herself. And even on one of the album's best cuts, Chun Li, this is just a nasty banger, showcasing some of those great flows, as I said. Still, on this track, she's coming through with some garbage too. She says, "Call me 2 Chainz, name go ding dong, bitch it's King Kong, yes I'm King Kong, this is King Kong, yes Miss King Kong." This is just worse than bathing with piranhas. That's some shit you don't want to do, so you don't want to hear bars like this, I think, on any album. And we also got to point out the fact on this song that she seems to think Chun Li, aka Mrs. Thicky Thick Thighs herself, is a bad guy. Chun Li is not a bad guy. I think we all know that. So that was just something I could not let slide as a member of the Blurred delegation. But to keep things moving on Coco Chanel, we get this verse from Foxy Brown that is just sloppier than a bukkake mop. I like Foxy, but I felt like her rhyme schemes were all over the place on this shit. Again, though, the production on this is pretty nice. You're getting another banger. So production-wise, there are some great things here, man. I've talked about some of the beats that I liked. This would be another one. We're also going to get a generic radio track with Ariana Grande called Bad. Obviously, I'm not the target demographic, so whatever. Fuck my opinion on that. That shit I think is more aimed towards like teenage girls. And we do get a typical Eminem feature on Majesty. Now, he does snap with the flows on some of this. I can't front on that at all. I think he has some really crazy rhyme schemes here. But you're also getting some of that usual word salad where he's just jumbling shit together. A little bit of a singing bridge from him where he's just singing in those nasally vocals. So it is what it is. But again, there are some nice production spots on this. And Nicki snapped on this song too, man. I thought this one was solid for what it is. Some of that Eminem shit I wasn't feeling, but this was an alright track. And where you just get so many different sounds and features and variety on this project, you can on one hand applaud her for coming through with versatility and showing some creativity, but on the other hand, this is a long-ass project that probably could have been trimmed back. I think people are really going to be picking and choosing what they like here unless they're diehard Nicki Minaj fans, so it kind of does get all over the place, man. I do like that she is doing some different sounds, but I'm also not hearing a lot of maturity and growth on this project. That tweet that went up that everyone got mad at her over, I don't think she was even wrong because this shit is basically proving that, man. I don't know. I don't feel like Nicki's really taking her shit to the next level with this. I actually thought the Pink Print was all right back when it dropped in 2014. Had a couple of good tracks on it and whatever. But this shit to me didn't sound like anything that was overly unique or creative from someone who's claiming herself to be the queen. And if you want to talk about rappers and lyricists, I mean, we all know Rhapsody's out there. I mean, come on. There are plenty of other really dope female MCs who are doing their thing. But hey, man, I'm going to let her cook. Whatever. Is what it is. She's got her hardcore fan base, man. She's going to keep going no matter what I say. I think we all know that. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, man, I'm going to go with a 2.5 out of 5 on this thing. Kind of frustrated because on one hand, I do like Nicki when she raps on some of these songs, but when she's forcing those bad lines, it really takes away from it. She's got some dumpster juice ass putrid bars on here. And even when she sings on tracks like Run and Hide and Nip Tuck, it's just completely forgettable, man. As a vocalist, I don't find her to be overly great. I'd say Come See About Me probably has her best vocals, but it's still a dry piano ballad. So this project is just very spotty for me, man. I'm really curious to know what her fans think about this one. Maybe this is everything they wanted from her, but I just felt like this shit was all over the place. Very jumbled bag that does show flashes here and there of greatness, but I don't know. I wasn't blown away by this shit, but I'm not the demographic, I don't think. So it is what it is. Like, I'm fully aware of that shit. I'm not going to pretend like I'm someone she's aiming her music towards, so I always keep that in mind, but still, man. Thought this shit was pretty average. Not in love with it, but you guys can let me know what you think in the comments section. And of course, check me out on all my social media so you can show me love and show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.